Utah, you know, studied it, and was a bow himself, obviously. I don't tell most of you know this already, but for those who don't, I'd like to point out that he came home from the war, Korean War. He came home terribly affected by what he'd seen done there. He rode the rails drunk for 5-6 years before he finally straightened out and started writing and focusing himself on music. Became a pacifist, a Catholic worker. I mean, Hennessy saved his life at the Joe Hill House in Salt Lake City. He ended up spending about 7 years there, and then launched himself as a folk singer in the late '60s. And I love to tell the story. I said, I called Utah one day, about 2 years before he died. You know, the Basement tapes, Bob Dylan and the band, right? The band, you know, like Load Off Fanny and, you know, Night They Broke Old Dixie Down being their big hits. Well, Bob Dylan and the band, you know, the Basement tapes were like this rare thing that for years were like bootlegged, and everybody was making copies of the tapes that they had recorded at the house in Woodstock that they were renting when Bob was in his sabbatical after the motorcycle accident that either did or didn't happen, that, you know, he was retreating from fame. Well, anyway, there's the official bootleg version that Columbia Records put out in like '72 or '73. It's like a double album, but there's about another 100 songs and snippets of the Basement tapes, Dylan and the band. And if you go on the internet, you can find them, you know, rare places. And one day my friend gave me a copy of, he said, you gotta check out some of this shit that's really like the rarest of the rare. And on there was Utah's song Rock, Salt, Nails, Bob Dylan singing it. I called Utah and said, you won't believe this, Utah. I said, Bob Dylan singing your song on the Basement tape. He goes, yeah, I'd heard about that. And I said, well, you know, he didn't have much respect for Dylan, nor do I. Of course, great singer, but a big thief also. He said, wow, that's interesting. I said, well, let me send you a copy. So I mailed it off to him, and he got to hear it. Bob Dylan and the band. You know, really crappy version of Utah song Rock, Salt, and Nails. But this is his beautiful song, Starlight on the Rails. I can hear the whistle blow, high and lonesome as can be. Outside the rain is softly falling. Tonight it's falling just for me. Looking back along the road I've traveled, sing along lines and tell me tales. The lines can tell a million tales. Each year's like some rolling freight train. Each year is like some rolling freight train. Cold as starlight on the rails, cold as starlight on the rails. I think about a wife and family, a home and all the things it means. The black smoke trailing out behind me is like a string of broken dreams. Looking back along the road I've traveled, the miles can tell a million tales. Each year is like some rolling freight train, and cold as starlight on the rails. A man who lives out on the highway is like a clock that can't tell time. A man who lives his life just rambling is like a song without a rhyme. Looking back along the road I've traveled, miles can tell a million tales. The miles can tell a million tales. Each year's like some rolling